week we had my software defined interviews co-host on, Whitney. Great episode, as I recall. And one of the things that we have an interview show where we interview people, and I like to have a few stock questions to ask people. And one of them that I've kind of killed, I hoped it would be great, but I asked people, and I've got there's a 2-part opener here. I asked people this question, and I think I have like a 20% success rate for play along, right? Like it's like a play along question. Like it's like you don't think, you just go with it. And the question is, I'm going to ask you first, Matt Ray.
Uh-oh.
And then after this exercise, I'm going to show you what I think the new question should be to get to the same end. So if I were to go into your kitchen, not creeping in like as my wife would say, ninja, but like I'm invited. And I were to open up whatever drawer you have, I'm going to use the American term, whatever cabinet, drawer, the space you have where your Tupperware is, what am I going to see?
Oh, this question.
See, you know how to play along with it.
I know this question.
You're a professional podcaster.
I listen to the show.
Oh, yes.
You will find...
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, you will find a very aspirational Tupperware drawer where... Like we've bought some quality pieces. Yeah, we bought some glass. We've bought some of the fancy Tupperware or Gladware, whatever that is meant to be used more than just a handful of times. But we do get takeout maybe once a week or so, and so there those like cheap. Australia has standardized takeout containers. They're it's the same ones everywhere, same lids. So we have like I don't know. 20 of them, 30 of them.
Okay, so you're keeping those. Okay. How about
you? Well,
we
keep a couple, but I don't know why, because we have plenty of the other ones. It's like, why don't you go straight to the recycling? This is me, the guy who like periodically just grabs 20 out of there and sticks them straight in recycling.
Well, I think maybe it's been 100 years, but we still have multi-generation trauma about the Depression. And so we're like, that's a good looking piece of string.
Explaining that.
Hang on to it.
I was explaining that to my kids the other day, how like my parents grew up in the Depression. And so I've gotten that trickle down effect of like, no, seriously, your grandmother used to wash Glad bags.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Is like, you could use that foil about 5 more times.
Exactly.
Don't rip that wrapping paper. We're going to fold it up and keep it for next year.
I'm a little more like eco forward. I'm just like, goes to recycling.
Yeah. How about you, Brandon? What are we going to see in the Tupperware villa?
All right, now I separate it. So the plastic Tupperware, we're going to open like a pretty big like drawer. You'll see all the lids like in a bin, and then you'll see the various plastic size things somewhat organized, kind of stacked together, and then that's in one drawer, and then all the glassware that we just recently upgraded. I would say it was just replaced. Everything was Snapware. Mm-hmm. All that glass is in like a separate cabinet, all stacked by its appropriate, stacked appropriate to size. Absolutely. So I don't know. Is that the right answer?
Very well organized.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very nice. Now, there's no right or wrong answer.
No, there is a wrong answer. I'm here to tell you. Don't waste your time with the IKEA glassware stuff. Those lids are horrible.
Oh, that's what we have.
Aren't they like they're stiff and hard to get off?
We have the snapping lids, the lids that snap.
Oh yeah, those are okay.
The gray ones, utter garbage. Just get rid of those.
Yes.
I think we can universally say the snapping lids are the only way to go. Yeah,
those are good.
Everything else warps, doesn't connect, doesn't seal after just basic use. So always go snapping lid, I guess.
I mean, and of course, worst Tupperware you can have are the green lidded Tupperware from IKEA. Those are just they should just have the staff go in there, get all of them, and throw them directly into a fire. Mm-hmm. I don't care if it kills the earth. Just incinerate them.
This whole topic, Cote, has me thinking, because we just had Thanksgiving here in the United States. So maybe everyone could walk, if they're bored, if they're maybe tired of their family, like go into your refrigerator right now and take a couple of pictures of how you used your Tupperware to take care of your various, if you will, additional dishes after your big Thanksgiving feast.
Your second, third, and fifth dinner. So
it's just a weekday here.
I have not had a lot of success with this question. When I ask people, they usually don't go on for, let's say, 4 minutes, which is what I'm looking for right now. I think a few people maybe one or two we've had an extended conversation where we just could go into the philosophy of Tupperware in general. Do you want glass? You get plastic, right? Because what you want with that discussion is people to be like, you put pasta sauce in there, you're done, right? Like once you put something red in there, what are you gonna like?
You have to have both. I think. I mean, it's like right tool, right job. You have to have both.
Yeah, yeah. So I've been thinking. I've only used this, I think, once, but I think this I'm looking to evoke obviously a conversation like this. I think what I should ask is instead, okay, so, and we'll start with you again, Matt. So you go to the dishwasher and you open it up to put some dishes in because you're a responsible adult living in the world. You got a dirty
roommate.
dish.
Yeah.
You put it into the dishwasher, right? And you look in there. You've got a spoon, and you go to put the spoon in there, and all of the cutlery, as they would say, or the silverware, as we would say in America, is not filed to a way of your liking.
Oh no!
What do you do?
I flip them. I forks and knives point down in my house.
You correct the mistake.
I correct the mistake. Spoons can go up. Spoons, they get to go either direction. Because you don't want the spoon spooning. You want
sure.
Yeah.
But the forks and knives down.
Yes.
Now I'm going to ask the question that I know at least half of our listeners are asking. Doesn't this dull the knives?
I don't care. They don't cut my hands. I buy new ones. How long does it take knives to dull? Like years? I mean,
this is exactly the response I always give to that question. It's like, it's better than getting cut.
Exactly. I mean, this goes straight back to the Tupperware thing. It's like, don't you feel bad about, throwing out those containers? Like, no, I recycle them. I try to get some use out of them, but at the end of the day, like my safety trumps, a slightly dulled knife that was, 99 cents at IKEA anyway.
That's true. Okay, Brandon, you walk up to the dishwasher. Let's say you've enjoyed a delicious, not only on Thanksgiving did you have turkey, you also had prime rib cooked perfectly.
Oh, beautiful. Love it.
You spent $120 at Costco. You got it cooked. No one fucked it up. It finally came out perfect. You had a steak knife. You had a fork. Now you're going to put the fork and the steak knife in the dishwasher. You notice that the several pieces of silverware are filed incorrectly. What do you do?
All right. Well, I guess I have to start with the correctly. In my house, I think forks and spoons up, knives top. There's we have this top drawer thing, like this little it's a little slider,
little hidden
and
drawer.
then so you can just put all the knives up on top and kind of keep them out of the way, and that way they get clean and you don't have to because the problem it's not so much dulling them, but it's sort of like sometimes if you put a knife in just the right way in the basket, it can sometimes find its way through and then hit the bottom things. So that's why I put them on that top shelf thing. So, but I find I don't know, or maybe my wife has convinced me. I don't know. That the knives and spoons get cleaner if you will, if as you say up. Yeah. So that's what we do.
You've never had a fork tied under the fingernail?
I am.
That's why they're down.
Feel skilled enough so far. This is the thing. When I unload it,
skilled enough.
Okay, no. When I unload it, I can just take the basket out. Right, it just pops out, and then I can put the basket right on the countertop. So it's clear vision. It's very easy to pick up, and then I just stack everything in the drawer. So I feel like it minimizes the chance of again with just forks. I feel like the fork I have not caused any damage. I feel like it's generally not going to be a huge injury. Obviously, knives a totally different thing. You have to be
all right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I've got the generational trauma of having lived in 5 houses in the last 9 years because renting and stuff, and so sometimes the dishwashers had that tray, sometimes they didn't, and so now it's just this is the way we do it. My new house, everything's fine.
Now, okay, we got to get to the second part, Brandon. Let's say Matt Ray's family has been over for Thanksgiving, right? Maybe they're sleeping on the couch, they're having fun. Mm-hmm. You go in, and what you see is that all of the silverware, except for the spoons, are sharp point down. Mm-hmm. And you see that in the dishwasher. what do you do?
I just let it run. At that point, I don't re-architect or restack or anything. I leave that now. The best thing, and anyone that's married or lives with a significant other, like there's nothing better than like you loading the dishwasher and then walking away to then have your significant other come through and either like not reload, but like redo it. And it's always like, it's always one of these questions of like, I don't know. I think are we really on the same page here? Is this really happening?
I mean,
but I don't. When I actually, so I guess the way around that is like I don't reorganize or reload. And if it's in there, it's just as long as it runs properly, it just goes the way it is.
I see. So you wouldn't defrag the dishwasher?
No, no defragging at all.
Okay. Now, final question. And this is, one, I've got a comment. Matt Ray, you might need to think about what if you trip and you fall in the dishwasher and a spoon scoops your eyeball out. So you might want to put the spoons down. Now, okay, we're going a little longer than I wanted, but I'm curious. Now that tray on top, Brandon, we have a tray on top.
Yep.
And I feel like this has really changed up the dishwasher game because we put all of the cutlery on the top
do that.
tray.
Yes.
So what's going on with the Brandon house that you don't do that?
Well, a lot of times we'll use that for other stuff as well, like a long cutting board or something, just things that are long so that it can kind of fit up there. And kind of use that space as the additional stuff. And we just sort of have the basket, if you will, it's all, I don't know if it's not, obviously you can, take it out, but it just feels like that space, if you will, in the bottom tray has already been reserved for, like forks and spoons and stuff. So it's like, I don't know, it feels like that's the place for that. So,
well, I think maybe, I don't know how much time you took off this week for Thanksgiving, but you might have some time where you could just take that lower silverware thing out, try going full on top.
Yeah, no, I like it. I'm actually, after this, I'm going to try to find, because usually there's these videos of like the manufacturers of these various devices, and they're like, here's what this is used for. And like, you had no idea. And it's like, I've been using this wrong for like 10 years. So I probably need to look up some of those and be like, the top tray is actually used for like this other thing. I didn't even know.
You're going to learn your dishwasher has a filter that's never been changed.
Now, I
can confirm. That part I already know.
I know Kim listens to at least the beginning of these podcasts, so I want to relate a Kim story. Is recently, I'm going to get the wording wrong, so I apologize ahead of time to me in the future when I'm talking to her about this. No, wait, to her about me. Anyways, and she was like, I looked up in the manual how you're supposed to do silverware, and then that's all she said. She moved on.
Interesting.
Which
I love it.
Well,
you need to report back. I'm going to go read the manual now.
No, which meant I was doing it correctly.
Oh, okay.
It was just like I saw, and and now I probably am getting the story wrong, so I apologize. She can correct me about it.
In your head, you were doing it right. In her head, I tried to tell him reread the manual, but no, he won't listen.
But it is. I didn't actually do this, but kind of like you, Brandon. When we got this new dishwasher, I saved the manual, and I was like, I'm really gonna sit down and just like manual
go
the
to
fuck
town
out
on
of
this
this.
thing.
I'm gonna read the manual. Look at how it says to pack the dishwasher, and I never got around to it. But I feel like that would have been the moment right there to see what the design intention of the dishwasher was.
Intention.
So circling back to like the topic du jour, like have you guys seen this thing where people create like a notebook LLM where they upload household manuals and receipts and bills for things in your house, and then you ask the AI for like household stuff?
Huh.
I've been thinking about trying that, and I just wanted to
I have not heard that with receipts, but
just everything household gets dumped into the same notebook.
It totally makes sense. Like all the stuff in your house. Yeah, I like that.
Well, I haven't done it extensively, but what I did do several days ago is, when I say it out loud, I don't know why I wouldn't have realized this. I realized that in Claude, the Anthropic has an MCP server that just has local file access, and you can control which directories it has access to. So, of course, the first thing I did is I gave it access to my D&D stuff, and then
not your taxes.
Well, and then I realized all of this like futzing around I've been doing for 3 years to like save the state of things, to have it like look up adventures. I don't need to do that now because it can just read the shit off my hard drive that I'm uploading to it anyways. And then I realized that I could have it go modify files. And, I'm still reeling from the epiphany of that. And then I realized, well, what if I turned it to my, 20, 30 years of markdown files in my Obsidian vault? And that's nuts. Like, it can just suddenly go in there and do things. And I mean, obviously they've been saying that, but it becomes kind of insane. And then the next level is I realized that if you use Cloud Code, you don't actually need to code. You can actually just tell it to like do other shit.
Read stuff. Fix your computer. Right. Well, you should. I was gonna say, like, for people that want more of this, they should, and especially listeners of last week's after show, they should make sure to listen to Whitney and Cote's new podcast where they talk about note taking, right? Where they just talk about how they use Obsidian and how they feed Obsidian into various AIs. And it's just all it is that, and it's every week it's as good as it was the previous week.
I think if we did that podcast, we would finally get above Cloudcast.
That would finally put us over. Well, I did want to throw out before we move on here. I did want to throw out to one thing: the idea of bringing the real world AI use cases to, let's say, household chores. I had to repair some sinks, some faucets on the sinks. It's very boring. But like, of course, what I had to do is like I actually used the AI. It walked me through like what to do, and actually took some pictures of the things I had and actually helped me figure out what was it. So it was very, very useful. I recommend everyone do it. But I thought to myself, like, what I want to do is I was thinking I would like to start. I like to pitch the world on this idea of like I would like a QR code on everything in my house that needs to be replaced, right? Like just everything, like, cause it's always like you're at the Lowe's or the Home Depot and you're like, which one is it? Did I get the right one? And so this is what I like. I'd like everything to have a code on it so I could just click it and be like, oh, that's what I want to replace it. And then I could start feeding all of this into my favorite AI. I'd be like, here's all the stuff that's in my house. And here's the exact model and make and replacement. And that way I could just be like, cause at the end, the AI asking a good question. It's like, what kind of faucet, what manufacturer do you have for the faucet? And like, I have no idea. Like, it's not obvious to me like what it is, but it will kind of guess based on the picture. But then I was like, no, I want a QR code on every conceivable thing that needs to be replaced, like a consumable household thing. And then I just want to be able to, in one touch, either reorder it or tell the AI, here's what I have. What should I do?
I think, okay. This is a good topic. I think you could probably knock that out. I'm going to say in 3 dedicated days. And let me think. Yeah. I mean, your house isn't huge. And so you could go around and basically take pictures of all the rooms in your house, like from all the angles, and then feed it into the AI thing and be like, I want you to identify everything in here. And if you can't identify it, ask me a question and I'll go identify it for you. And that's probably going to take you 3 days to do that cataloging, maybe only 2. And then after that, you have a complete catalog. I mean, you're probably not going to go open the drawers in your kitchen. Maybe that's like day 8, right? But you'll at least have the big stuff. And then from then on, this is classic digital transformation, IT stuff. From then on, of course, what you're going to do, Brandon, is every time something comes in, you enter it pristinely into the CMDB, right?
Of course.
Exactly.
Right?
And but you sort of have this rolling thing of here are, I guess you could hook it up to your Amazon account and maybe take a picture of your Costco receipt every time.
Well, that's why I'm kicking myself. Like, my paranoia got the best of me. Like when I check out at the local hardware store, they're always like, do you want paper or do you want us to SMS your receipt? And I'm like, I don't need you spamming me more. Just give me the paper. And so I've got a stack of paper receipts, but if they've been SMSing, I can just grab them out of, messages and dump them straight into this, my household CMDB.
No, I like that. Well, I was going to say for
missed opportunity though.
People that do it, I don't know how it is over your way in Australia, but like both Lowe's and Home Depot, excellent digital transformation, excellent checkout experiences. You can email and get the paper receipt.
They don't have email, so that's why I was like, I don't want.
Yeah, I don't know the texting. Costco also now lets you basically go online and look up any receipt that you bought either online or in store. So it's like, so to your thing about Cote about like not really updating the CMDB, but it's sort of like, well, when I need it, you can, if you will, you can perform a discovery when you're
there
like,
you go.
I need
Yes.
to go figure out, because back to the Snapware thing, it's like, what did we get last? Because this is the kind of question we'd ask. We were like, oh, we lost a lid, or we broke some of a glass container. Like, what did we get last time? We like to get the same model, replace it. And you go, oh, let's go look it up in Costco. So I think that kind of stuff is, I don't know. I think it's perfect. And so I just want the manufacturers to go one step further and be like, well, it's kind of like the JSONification of everything. It's like, you know what? Just like give the computer a QR code. I don't even care what you do with it. Like make it JSON, make it just a text file. Be like, this is the thing. Go here.
Yeah,
and of course, feel free to use that URL. Like you don't need to mark it. Like I'm probably going to buy it. Just like make it easy for me to just buy that thing, because now I need the cartridge to replace in the sink. Something simple like that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I like it. Maybe a new business model for the Software Defined Talk conglomerate. We will come into your house and inventory everything. And by we, I don't mean us three. I mean, obviously, we're going to hire some other people to do it. But we will coordinate and arrange. We'll do some consulting to help you build up your household CMDB and kind of establish. We'll get you a giant poster you can put on your wall that has the process flow and what you can do. We'll establish, we'll give you a spreadsheet that will allow you to do quarterly ROI stuff, your KPIs, MBOs, OKRs, whatever you need, kind of aligned to what is there. And, I think you'll be able to do this successfully. My final thought on this is I think we could mix together. Might be something that, if you really want to be a beta tester, Software Defined Talk, Household CMDB, Alpha Beta Tester. Matt Ray is going to build you a Roomba with a Raspberry Pi on it that has multiple cameras, and it's just going to move around your house.
And LiDAR.
And LiDAR, and constantly take pictures of things. And when it notices something new, it's a discovery. It's going to auto import it into the CMDB.
I love this idea.
Or if it notices it's like, oh, there used to be a GE Profile ice maker on the shelf, and now there is not. It might send you a notification. You might have a setting that you've done, just like, don't ask me, it's gone, right? Like if you don't see it, it's gone.
It's too bad we didn't get this started before Matt Ray moved in. I could just see, okay, Matt Ray standing in front of his front door as like boxers come in. Nothing comes in until I've taken photographs of everything. And and you're just like, literally, it's like your wife is trying to walk in with blankets. Step back, miss. Please step back behind the line. ITIL is here. We will be photographing every blanket before you will enter, right?
Yeah.
Well, the good news is, as you can see from my background, I still have like a moving box or two.
That's
left.
right. You still have time, Matt Ray. You can get a partial discovery. You still have that, a partial discovery.
Okay, I think we've named it. We're going to be the SDT IoT ITL.
Fantastic.
SDTMDB.
That's right. Well, on a slightly related topic, once again, I think a couple episodes ago, we mentioned this in passing, that the curl person. We talked about curl a lot. And I don't think we got to a point that I was thinking of. Well, we sort of mentioned it, but it came up again that the FFmpeg, I think
FFmpeg, yeah.
I think all three of us throughout our illustrious careers have enjoyed and benefited from that. Maybe some of us more than others, and if not indirectly. And in true me style, I did not do a thorough analysis. I didn't even ask one of my chat buddies to do a thorough analysis. But I think the Register headline probably summed it up the best. And they were like, "Hey Google, stop sending us bugs. Right? Like you're consuming a lot of time." And I'm sure it's another rock solid thing. Now that I'm trying to live the command line lifestyle, there is a I don't even know what it's called, but there's some YouTube command line thing which is fantastic. It'll download
YouTube
the videos
download, yeah.
And I figured out how to make it only download subtitles, which is probably, I'm going to say, a good 15 to 20% of my interaction with YouTube in the era of AI.
Just reading text subtitles?
No, I don't read it. I want to download the subtitles to give it to an AI and be like,
wow.
Read it.
What the fuck happened in this 4 hours? Like,
When we put this in here, I thought this is the perfect question for Matt Ray. This is sort of his day job, and he's, I don't know, our Google proxy, at least for the moment. It's like, because it is kind of a weird thing. It's like, it's not so much Google's just sending, it's basically Google is finding security issues. Now, this is the part that I think is somewhat controversial. It's like kind of obscure security problems, or you could say, well, all security problems need to be equal. So it seems to be what happens is like, they find these like, yes, these are vulnerabilities, but they're, if you will, very hard to take advantage of, right? So they're telling FFmpeg about them, but then FFmpeg is like, listen, this it's just a cost benefit analysis. It's like, yeah, you're right, but like this, we just don't have time to do this, and no one has.
They're like, unless you're running
money,
a global SaaS, this isn't a problem.
Right. So the whole thing is like, what do you want us to do? We have other things to do, right? So I don't know, Matt. Like, I don't want to put you in the position of defending like one of your many. You have to defend the security and the Google behavior. Like, what are your thoughts?
I don't work for Google yet, but I mean the problem the FFmpeg project has is, it's great. They've made it this far with primarily volunteers. There's not a corporation backing it. But it's at SKC it's one of those of supporting a whole lot of other stuff. And to their point, they're like, hey, we'll get to it when we get to it, but opening more houses isn't going to make this faster. Why don't you pitch in and help? And go like, here's a bug. Here's a bug. Which doesn't help.
And I think generalizing from this, right? Like, because there's all sorts of instances of this. So like we were talking about curl is I think I'm going to try out a new position. Usually I don't know if usually I do, but sometimes I hem and haw over the stuff. I go back and forth. But I think at this point, I think there are enough big companies with infinite money that if you have a civilization critical open source project, unless it's your choice not to, they should just be paying you at least $400,000 a year to work for them. Right? Yeah.
Just that. Uh-huh.
Just like, the criteria, people who are running. I don't know if it goes
at YouTube.
Like, I don't know if it goes up to the C-suite level, but whoever is like in charge of even the open source programs, those people don't usually have budget, but someone who is in charge of budget that is strategic, that if something disappeared, the share price would plummet and everything would be a disaster at that company. They should look around at the open source tools they use and say, is that person getting $500,000 a year?
What about maybe
are they employed
slightly
by someone? And like, so they got to make sure that they're stable and things are working.
Well, maybe a slight different way would be like, okay, Google, if you're going to find these bugs, right, you kind of are committing to helping fix them, right? Because that's part of what I think is going on. It's like, especially the ones that like, now maybe there's like, like the day zero catastrophic bug, right? Okay, that I think is like, hey, I'm giving everybody a heads up. And even all the volunteers, like if you're gonna work on anything, you need to work on this because it's a major problem. But for the other stuff, however we want to characterize them, Sev 2, harder to exploit. It's sort of like, okay, Google, like it's good you're finding this, but you kind of have to pitch in to fix these things. I mean,
well, maybe to go to another company that no one in the future might be affiliated with. Let's say you're Spotify. And there probably is a similar, maybe even FFmpeg does audio processing. I don't know. But like there's a similar thing for audio processing, and every second of every day, your multi-billion-dollar valued company is using this piece of software. And if it didn't exist, you'd have to shut down for, let's say, 15 to 45 days. Which would basically, which would basically tank your company and you're out, right? Like, and if you have a dependency like that, just hire the people. And if they don't want to be hired, that's totally fine. But also maybe like hire some people to live across the street from them to make sure they're cool, right? Like you have this massive dependency that if something went wrong, it would be terrible. And like the amount of money that you're going to pay to make sure that to manage that risk is very small compared to like,
I wonder, really,
outcomes.
You're asking the business owner question here, which of course we love here at Software Defined Talk. It's like, how many times or how much do you think, because my guess is like YouTube, because it re-encodes all videos, right? Like, wouldn't you think they're using either FFmpeg or like whatever,
something
some internal version of it, like almost like continuously?
Non-stop.
Like what you think?
I mean, millions of times a day.
Right. So if that's the case, I mean, maybe that's really what we need to start with. I mean, to your point about Cote, it's like, whatever, you need to hire these people. Like if you're using something that is literally being used millions of times a day, by your very, very profitable service. It's like, yeah, you
And
really are
this-
like the de facto
Well,
owner of
but
it.
where do you draw the line, right? Do I need to start paying Canonical for Ubuntu? Do I need to start paying,
well, someone's paying them because they're still around.
Well, I think we should at least start.
but
here's
not for
where-
their usage.
I don't
right?
know where we should draw the line, but I'll tell you where we should start. Okay. If the project is 100% owned by volunteers and no one is getting paid, and you're using it millions of times a day to re-encode videos, that seems like a place where it's like, okay, we should hire someone to fix the bugs that we find. That seems like a pretty reasonable place to start.
Or throw them a bone and give them a staffer, or just one.
Absolutely.
Let's say either way, but just talk to them. Like, what do they want, right? So it seems reasonable. Like either someone that Google that would work on it specifically, or maybe they would be like, okay, we want you to fix these specific bugs. Either opportunity seems fine. So
right. And then you're not supposed to do this in open source world, but you could even be strategic. Spotify could be like, that AAC format. I don't think so. Right? Like that's low on the list. Not interested in that. We're all about MP3s and some other form, like whatever. I mean,
well, do we flip this? Can we I don't know, should we flip it and put it on the contributors and be like, okay, why don't they just crank up an LLC and be like, okay, you guys want this fixed? Like here's an enterprise license, pay us whatever, $5 million a year.
Yeah. I think they're like one of those, old open source projects that's been around for so long that it's got, hundreds of parents and, there's nobody's controlling it. It's a loose federation of contributors. And so, somebody could be like, this is my day job now, and step up and, probably gather, 3 or 4 of the highest contributors and put together a small LLC. I mean, the work's there. Obviously there's this just in, there's a lot of video on the internet, right? And probably most of it is using FFmpeg. So it's an opportunity.
But maybe it's the other way. Maybe they should just label it's almost the opposite of the bug bounty. It's like the bug fix. It's like you just go into GitHub, you pick the issue and be like, okay, I will fix this one for $50,000 or whatever. Just pick any number. Just be like,
it's like a filter that's like, if reporter equals Google, 50,000.
Right. Well, no, but it's just, you can just throw it up there and be like, okay, this one you guys reported, okay, this 50K, like I'll do it for that, or whatever number is appropriate. I have no idea. So that would be kind of interesting too. It's like, okay, just fix it.
Yeah.
Just put us on retainer.
I think to close it out, my thinking on this, applying sort of like a moral framework to it, is that if you're these big companies, you have infinite money. So strategically, it's an easy choice to just do it, right? Like it's not even a rounding error. It's a nothing, right? To like hire a team of people to focus on this stuff. And my suspicion is not suspicion, but I think in some cases, like as I was looking through, just to wildly speculate in a dangerous way, as I was looking through that person who works on curl, they're in Sweden. They work for some obscure Swedish security company. They probably don't want to work for Google or for like Facebook or for Amazon. Right. Like they probably are set up just fine, and they like don't want a bunch of bullshit in their life, which is cool, right? But at least people should have the option. And like it seems like, just like, I don't know, maybe every year the big company can sell like 10 shares of stock. And like,
that conversation shows up like at all the like open source summits and scales, and all the open source things are like, how do you make money in this? And it's always like, well, I'll tell you what doesn't work. Yeah, it's like what doesn't work is putting out a tip jar. What does kind of work is some sort of small consulting LLC, but then you have to hustle and do all this stuff, and nobody, most developers don't want that, right?
And so just pay me. What I want, I until my mind changes otherwise, which is generally my case on all things I think about. Until I don't think that way. I think basically the big companies just need to hire them. End of discussion. Like that's right, what.
What about this, Coach? Maybe we should. Maybe Whitney would be the one to broker this. She introduced us last week to several conferences, or what we call them, the cool kids conferences. There's maintainers. Right. I think. And so what we should do is maybe
track.
I'm sure Whitney would want to run this. I'm kidding, of course. But like we should maybe at the maintainers, we should be like, okay, we're going to have the money track at the maintainers conference. Okay. And it's simply going to be like, we're going to invite large companies like AWS, Google, whoever. We're going to get some of the people, the money people, and then we're going to get the maintainers. And we're going to be like, okay. And we're just going to start off with one question. Okay. We want these things fixed. Okay. How do you want to be paid or compensated to do that? And they can just run through all the options. Be like, LLC, we could hire you, whatever. All the different, or we could give you some headcount and just let them all work it out. Be like, how do you want to be paid? And then of course the big companies can be like, well, even though what you said is reasonable, Cote, we all know it's hard to hire people. They could say it's like, it's hard for me to hire a person, but it's easy for me to cut a check or whatever, right?
You're like, hear me out.
Sit down and be like, here's what I can do. What do you want to do? And then everybody, and then we leave there and we just say that, and we just solve it.
I like this.
I want a tip jar on every single YouTube page. That's all I'm asking.
I think we've invented, this might be a record. We've invented 2 new business models for software-defined talk. We had the SDT IoT CMDB, which was, for home, maybe enterprise edition later on. But I think we've also invented, I'm going to call it the SDT open source moneymaker. And we help facilitate and run these kind of events because, things are going to get heated, Brandon.
Yep.
And sometimes people aren't going to want to talk with each other.
Yep.
We'll get people over here that just had a teeth whitening and these people aren't wearing a clean shirt, right?
Yep.
Like,
could be difficult
universal.
to get there. It could be difficult. We definitely need some facilitation.
Right? I don't know which side each of these are on. It could switch, but like we need some facilitation, some setting. And then just like any good conference, at some point you've got to be like, oh, it's 4:30. Time to go to the reception. Right? Like, I know everyone.
But what if we set up
I was thinking I would propose something everyone would hate to get them all united against me. Right. And it would be something like this. One way we could do it is every time you boot up a container in Kubernetes, the first thing you have to do is actually have it pull down this YouTube video. And we're going to call the YouTube video open source money. And then that way it would get billions of views, right? And we turn on monetization and go. So that way it's like, actually no one's paying anything, right? That's the way we pitch it. It's like, we just need every time you do anything with Kubernetes, it first has to download this YouTube video, run the ad, Google gets the money or YouTube, and then that money is then funded back to the shell corporation, and we fan that out to pay maintainers. I think that'd be universally hated by every person because it's partially fraud, and of course it gets inside of the technical community. We're messing up Kubernetes, so everyone is immediately angry. And I come at it, and I'm like, no, this is the only way. And then eventually I'm like, well, do you guys have any ideas? And then I just walk out. Right?
I'm gonna lead with Nagware.
Yes. Right. That's the way I'm gonna. I just walk out and I'd be like, I don't know. Maybe you guys can figure it out. And then you guys give me a better solution. Something like that.
You pretend like you get a call and you're like, oh, there's something wrong with catering. I've got to be right back.
I have to go.
All right. Yeah. All right. I think we can figure that out. Well, so in other news, because we ran an episode with Whitney last week. Cloudflare went down last week, and I noticed this. I was going to lots of sites, and here's my reaction to Cloudflare going down and causing parts of the internet to go down. It took me a long time to believe it was Cloudflare's fault. I can't say that word. They've got such good brand established stuff that I was in their corner. So I would go to these websites, and I'm sure we all saw this now. There's 3 things on the web page. There's you, Cloudflare, the site you're trying to go to, and you, which is to say me, I was good. The site I was trying to go to was good, and Cloudflare was bad. And I kept thinking, maybe you're like this sometimes, Matt. I was like, is my mixture of being an expat living in the Netherlands, maybe running Tailscale that I forgot about, trying to access something as if I live in America, causing Cloudflare to freak out, and it's just not telling me? But it turns out no.
No, not this time.
My whole configuration was right. Yeah, not this time. But it seems like I didn't read the extensive postmortem, or post whatever. But it's from what I remember or saw, there was just a database misconfiguration somewhere. So my first question, one, is that accurate? And two, I don't know. Doesn't the stock market fail more frequently than the internet?
Well, just to clarify for Matt, guys, technically what it was is the database outputted a feature file, and it got too big. It basically doubled in size. And then when that file was then propagated, the software could not handle it. And then hence that's why I guess it looked like a DOS event to them internally for a while. It seemed like it was like, oh, everything is just, going down. So
I think
so it really just comes down
File's
to
too big.
Buffer, couldn't read the whole buffer. End of internet for a few hours. So go ahead, Matt.
No, I mean, outages happen. Obviously Cloudflare is more successful, I guess, than the internet knew. And so a lot of people this week found out what Cloudflare was.
Right.
But no, I've definitely been there, Cote, where I'm like, is it my internet? What did I do this time? Yeah.
Bad error message, though. I guess in this instance, there's no good error message because it's like it kind of does make you, when you look at it, it sort of presents you three options, and you're like, well, it can't be Cloudflare, right? I mean, it's like it has to be something else. But I thought the other thought I had was, well, one, kind of to your point, Cote, it's like I just kind of this happens so much. It's just sort of like, gosh, if Cloudflare can't keep everything up, like I don't know what do the rest of the quote unquote regular companies
is coming down.
I mean, it just feels like that, right? Because I think 2 weeks ago it was Amazon, right? US East went down for like a few hours.
Exactly.
And it's just like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there is sort of as someone that works ostensibly in the world of like, yeah, we have this figured out and we're going to follow these processes and we have DevOps and we've got the technology and we're all working on this. It's like, I don't know. It doesn't seem to work. Even the world's largest companies, have such a difficult time doing it.
I mean, I think there's two things. One, it's the, I forget what I mean, this is anchoring, and there's that term that we all learned when Trump was president the first time, the Overton window, which is a slightly different version of it. But like we forget how amazing it is that anything works on the internet. And exactly. So like we constantly are like, we don't realize that. And then I think the other way of thinking about it is like, eventually your children realize that you're wrong most of the time and that you're actually have no idea what you're doing. Right. And that it's just amazing that you're keeping all these plates spinning in life. And, you just kind of ease into that and negotiate that. And I think that's what you see from like, we kind of accept that from Amazon because they've been around long enough. Yeah. And we know they go down. And then it's same news story. It's like, well, why did you run everything in one region or whatever? Right.
Right.
And then you get a whole explanation of that. And then so now, everyone's probably like, Cloudflare will have to go down, I'm going to say, over the next 5 years, 1 to 2 more times. And then we'll just be like, yeah, no big deal, right? Like these things happen, right?
Well, now on a related note to Cloudflare, I guess 2 things I saw not related to the outage. Like, one, they bought this company, Replicate, which is, I guess, an AI kind of workload company. And 2, I don't remember where I saw it, so I apologize for not being able to cite it. But like someone else kind of made the point, like, I mean, Cloudflare really is its own cloud platform at this point. When you kind of go through everything they have like their S3 competitor, which I think is called R2. We talked about that a long time. They've got some database or storage solutions. Obviously, they have all the networking stuff, and it's like,
a lot of
is this like should we be talking about them in like the kind of the same vein as like whoever we think is the 4th or 5th cloud? I don't, is that Oracle or is that cloud? It's like, I don't know. Should they be getting more credit or like? Because someone said this, I think it was on some social media. Someone said like, I don't know. It's like, it's kind of like, it's not a secret, but it's kind of like people don't know, right? People don't really follow Cloudflare. They kind of really follow it for like kind of the network side, not for, or I guess the content delivery side, not all the other stuff doing. So like, I don't know, Matt, do they deserve more credit? Are we kind of sleeping on Cloudflare?
I think they are internet infrastructure, but they're not enterprise infrastructure. So that's why you don't hear about them as much, is because you don't have like, oh, our bank has decided to move to Cloudflare. It's like, well, sure, our bank does use Cloudflare, but we're an AWS customer, or we're Azure. So they don't get mentioned in the same conversations as the cloud players because people think of the cloud as like oh, this is where my workloads are running. Meanwhile, all the plumbing, all the connections, all the DNS and uh, it's serving up edge content. That's all Cloudflare, right?
Mhm.
And they've got some WASM workers on the edge. They've got some databases on the edge, but they're handling everything connecting you to the internet, but they're not running your business.
I feel
Yeah,
I feel like there's like 100 product managers at Cloudflare that are upset with you hearing that. They're like,
well, no, I'm just calling it
and we have the database, Matt, and they're just like, they're so furious. They're going to send you the technical white papers because I think what they would say. And listen, I'm in the same. Listen, when I say that, I feel like I'm in the same boat, and I'm in theory, I'm supposed to follow it closely, and it's like, I kind of know you have all this, but it's almost like, but I don't see you at the big table, right?
You're not at the big table.
You're at the kids table, and it's like. And I know they'll be like angry about that. And I'll be like, it's kind of unfair, but that's kind of how I see it.
I think we talked about, or maybe I'm confusing it with another one. There's that Ben Thompson interview with the Cloudflare
CEO.
I still can't say it.
Yep.
And I think, I mean, to put it in a brutal way, it's kind of like a aw shucks JD Vance type of thing of like, well, I grew up like son of a cobbler, and I just happened to get a Harvard business degree and then work for a billionaire. Like, so there is a bit of a like, I don't know if like it's that much of a humble origin going on, but to listen to it, it does. So I'm like handicapping this kind of claim.
My first car was a late model Bentley.
That's right, but it seems like, to remembering or thinking about that interview, their product management strategy is basically like, we just walked into a room and thought we needed this thing rather than being deliberate, which sort of like, that's how you end up with it's a grab bag of things. It's kind of like, remember that era when you would get on an airplane and you would see an ad. This is probably the 2010s. You'd see an ad on the back of the seat from Google about how they were doing some moonshot thing. And then you would see that ad from Facebook about how they're using hot air balloons to spread internet in Africa, right? And it was like this era of moonshots, and they were just like doing a bunch of shit, right? And it's kind of like, it seems like the Cloudflare product management approach is sort of like that. It's just like, whatever they run into that they need. And I think the way that he said it is like, well, we discovered this thing we needed to do something else. And so we thought we should make a product out of that. And then there you go, a bunch of products.
I think the difference between them and, the what we're calling, the other cloud players, the real clouds, is they're coming outside in and the others are coming inside out. Amazon's looking at your workload and they're like, you're going to run this. And what are you going to need to get out to customers, to the internet or whoever? And Cloudflare's on the outside and they're like, well, sure, you've got this internet connection, but what do you need? You're going to need load balancing, and you're going to need DDoS protection, and you're going to need edge. So they're coming from the outside, and so they're not at the core. They're not. No offense to our friends, the Cloudflare product managers, but there's nobody who's like, we're Cloudflare shop. No, you're an Amazon shop, you're an Azure shop, you're a GCP. You're
true. So I like it. I like this idea, and so just as a quick aside, right? Because just to show you how successful Cloudflare is, I'm going to just quickly.
They're bigger than the other three combined.
No, they're doing very well. But I was going to say, and I like this idea of this like inside out kind of thinking, because I'm sure very few people will follow this, but I like to snow ski. I like to snow ski in Utah. So very quickly, Matthew Prince, he's from that area, grew up skiing Park City. Okay. So for those that no one will know this, but like Park City was bought by Vail a few years ago, right?
Yeah.
And Vail's like a major corporation. They did this Epic Pass. So they've basically been at war with the Park City people who are more local and they want to keep the mountain the way it was. So Prince has gotten involved, right? He bought like the local paper. And so they're basically fighting constantly and about like how the mountain should be taken. So he has stepped in and says, what they should do, he's offered is like, I will just buy it from you. He just said, I will buy the ski resort to you. And he promised, he's like, I just want to run it at basically a small, just run it at break even or a little bit more, right? Just because he just likes to ski.
That's so wrong.
And he loves the area. He's from the area. And he's even bought some of the historic stuff in there. So I was like to myself, that's a version of wealth Like you're thinking about like, and this is kind of back to like how the company started. It's like when you get so much money, you're like, how I can solve this problem? Like I'm just going to buy this entire ski resort from everyone and I'm going to make it, and I'm going to make it good again. And I thought to myself, for the first time ever, I was like, Cloudflare could be a place I want to work. That is a place I want to get involved in.
But then his buddy Larry Ellison's like, hear me out. You don't have to let anybody else on your mountain.
True. Well, that's different. That's actually not Larry Ellison, to be fair. That's actually
no. He kicked them all off his Hawaiian island.
Okay. Oh, but I was gonna say regarding skiing, the Netflix co-founder Reed, what's his name? Reed
Hoffman.
something. He has bought a separate mountain in Utah, and he's done that. He's made it private, so that's
nice.
too exclusive. But I don't know. I mean, maybe Matthew Prince would do that. I don't think so. I think he'll keep the mountain open. So, so that's all that matters. It's like these companies are so, forget about the AI bubble. It's like there's like a ski bubble. It's like so many people are buying the mountains. Like I just need a place where I can just buy a lift ticket and have a good day. So I think make that happen for me.
I think once the CEO of your tech company that you want to work for owns a massive piece of recreational real estate, you don't want to go work there. Because every year for President's Club, where are you going to go? Same place. Right?
I would like it. I would go every year. But that's true. Maybe not a lot of people want to ski all the time. It's true.
Yeah. Well, one thing people don't want to do all the time, they probably want to ski a lot, but one thing they want to do a lot less frequently is bureaucracy. And do we have any of that this episode, Brandon?
A few things. First, I sent some stickers to Carl in Washington State. Happy to do that. If you would like a sticker, all you have to do is send your postal address to stickers@softwaredefinedtalk.com. I will let you know, I've talked to the marketing people. We could be getting additional stickers. There could be a partnership at work. I don't want to announce it right now because I don't have it. I don't have all the paperwork figured out. But right now, email me and you're going to get the Software Defined Talk stickers. In the future, you could get that and another sticker with it. So I'm just kind of teasing that out. Hopefully we get the contracts, we get the copyright stuff all done in the next few weeks. So stay tuned. Yeah. For those of you that already have a Software Defined Talk sticker and you want the new sticker, I'm going to allow you to ask again. So don't worry. You haven't lost anything.
What I'm hearing here is I might need to get a Bloomberg subscription so I can read what Gurman's going to write about this.
It's
really
true. It could be in one of the upcoming insider editions of Software Defined Talk. Also, we got a little feedback on Christmas trees. This comes from Yella, and he tells us that the Christmas tree only goes up after Sinterklaas. That's the 6th of December. Okay, and there was actually a lot of more talk about exactly when, and maybe Cote alternative, like Sinterklaas, and there's like different dates. And he's also bringing a Belgium perspective of this. So I didn't realize. I think of Belgium more like with the French, but I guess they're also involved in the same thing. So Cote, you're gonna have to you're gonna have to straighten all of this out because this is really beyond what I know.
Listen, I'm gonna give you a quick perspective, and then I'm gonna need some time to do some research because the whole Belgium is very complicated. There's a lot going on there, and in the north of Belgium, you've got people who speak Dutch, as we would say, or Netherlands, but I know this from talking with Patrick Dubois, one of the creators of DevOps, and triangulating with some other people. Now for some reason, even though they are basically like a 5-minute walk from each other, the northern, I think they call themselves the Flemish. I get this all mixed up. I got to do some research. But the northern Belgian people who speak, as we would say, Dutch, and then the southern Netherlands people who also speak Dutch, and the whole rest of the Netherlands, they claim to not be able to understand each other, and that they're like very different. So I think we might have like a Scottish, like West Virginia situation going. Now those two actually talk very similar. We might have like a Scottish, Seattle, San Francisco situation, right, where there's just such a big divide.
Turn on the subtitles.
Right, that they just don't understand what's going on or something like that. And so that's an issue. And then, yes, as is being pointed out here, there are interesting cultural differences from slang to traditions. So, for example, I was just walking to the grocery store earlier, and there's a Christmas tree up in my neighborhood. And I know where all the Americans live around here. It's not an American that lives there. And so something's going on with the Christmas trees being up. But I would, this is the last thing I'm going to say for people who are interested in this kind of cultural map stuff. What's interesting to think about with these kind of questions is to figure out where the Catholic line is, and not present day. We're talking hundreds of years ago, because there is a wide variation in Dutch-speaking cultures between, even in the Netherlands itself, but between the Netherlands and when you get to the Belgium, where you figure out where Catholicism stopped and Protestantism began. And that's where you see starts lots of interesting, weird stuff happening and variations and stuff. So I have to say, I'm a little shocked that there even is Sinterklaas in Belgium. But it makes sense.
We're going to definitely get some email now. I think that sounds like fighting words right there.
No. And shocked is not because it could be, is because I'm trying to characterize how big of a difference there can be in such a comfortably small geographic space. Like there's a huge amount of variation. So listen, I'm going to go do some research. Probably not. But, we should look into this further.
Well, whatever we should do is join the Software Defined Talk Slack and just correct Cote right in there.
Absolutely.
He reads that
stuff.
That's what
it's there for.
And we probably don't have enough Belgium represented in there. So get in there, Belgium.
I mean, my last point on this, which I was told, whatever, by Patrick when I was talking to him about it, he was like, we know we have relatives up in the Netherlands and down here. And it's often hilarious because there's so much difference in the languages that the kids will be playing with each other, and one of the kids from one of the different cultures will use certain words and they don't know that it's like slang, like sexual or worse slang in another language. And so the other kids think it's hilarious, right? And he was like, this happens frequently, that the
Makes
words
for fun
like,
family gatherings.
Yes, indeed. So that,
Keeping it lively.
yeah, it's fascinating. It's good stuff. Love it. But yeah, Sinterklaas. What are you going to do? Very confusing. Well, speaking of things that are not confusing, one conference that's coming up that I think everyone should check out is DevOps Days LA and Scale 23X. That's going to be March 6th in Pasadena, California. And if you want to register for it, which is to say pay for it and go to it, I guess you could just pay for it, but you should probably go to it. You can get 50% off if you use the code DevOps, as I'm fond of saying, the singular of DevOps. And also the CFP is still open until December 1st. Now, I should start doing an ad for this as well. There's also Dev Nexus coming up in Atlanta, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to be at, which I think is that same week, except like March 4th to 5th. And I looked into going to both conferences. And as my friend ChatGPT told me, Cote, you've traveled for 20 years. You know this is a bad idea to go from Atlanta to Pasadena overnight.
Oof, that's a long haul.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to make it. That would be fun. Well, more in the fortunate world of life. What's a recommendation you have this episode, Brandon?
My recommendation is this new show I started on Netflix. It's The Best in Me. It's got Claire Danes. It's kind of a thriller. I'm a couple episodes in. I like it so far. But of course, it's Netflix, so they're all out. So you don't have to wait. If you like it, watch it to the end. If you don't like it, you've lost nothing. Unlike unlike the Apple TV ones, where you have to be like, oh man, am I putting 8 weeks into this or not? So The Best in Me.
I'm counting on you, Brandon, to finish it and tell me worth it, not worth it.
And first of all, I just realized it's not The Best in Me. It's The Beast in Me. I have to correct myself. The Beast in Me, which makes it even a little bit more. But yeah, don't worry. I can still do that. I'll check when I finish this one. I'll come back and tell you if I thought it was good. But so far, I like it. It's good. And it's Thanksgiving. You need something to watch after all the football games are over. You can watch this.
That's right. You've corrected the incorrect filing of the cutlery. The silverware. I can't believe I'm saying cutlery. What the fuck is wrong with me? You've corrected the incorrect filing. You've gotten rid of all those green lidded trash Tupperware.
You had your pumpkin pie. You're ready.
Now it's time to relax.
Yeah,
do that.
Watch the Netflix show.
How about yourself, Matt Ray?
My pick this week is speaking of the backlog of Netflix and other streaming services. Slowly rewatching Christopher Nolan movies with my son. So we watched The Prestige. If you didn't catch this one, I don't know when it came out, like 1990 or something like that. But definitely worth a rewatch. It's got Hugh Jackman, Christian Bale, rival magicians, and it's quite good. I enjoyed it. Christopher
Nolan. It came out in
it's
2006. It's like, this is the canon. You had to have seen this movie. If you didn't, immediately go watch it. This is
definitely
fantastic movie.
So yeah, that's my pick for this week.
Huh.
Next week,
So-
Matt's going to recommend The Godfather.
Well, he does want to watch it, right? Yeah,
That's a good one too.
I know.
Well, I think the important part of the recommendation is it still holds up. Like it's still a
Yeah, definitely
So,
still.
so good.
yeah. That's one of those movies I've only seen once. Maybe I should.
Oh,
see
you
it.
got it. That definitely is great.
Well, see, it's been like 20 years probably, so it's worth
yeah.
a rewatch because there was so much I had forgotten.
It's better
Yeah.
on the rewatch. I mean, it's
all right.
fantastic.
Okay. All right. Well, I've got two recommendations. One because it's a little one, and the other one because it's also a little one. So add it up. I think they'll be good. One, I haven't finished watching it, and I'm sure just like all of the versions of this movie, no one likes it. But I was watching the new Fantastic Four movie, and it's fine. It's like it's great. I mean, not
That's
great.
exactly right. It's fine. I
it's
saw it
fine.
in the theater. It was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
it was fine.
You want to. I mean, at this point, you want an action hero movie. Set your expectations, right?
Exactly.
Like it's gonna be fine. Like, what else are you doing with your time, right? Like I liked it. We'll have to see the rest. It's got that Boba Fett guy in it, like doing a great job. I think it might have the guy who plays the Fire Boy was the guy who was the DM in Stranger Things. Is that right? I got to look this up, but he kind of I've been trying to figure out who that guy is, and he kind of looks like him, but whatever. And then my other recommendation, speaking of Dungeon Masters, is I think I've recommended the Uncaged series of adventures in D&D world. It's actually volumes 1 to 4, and then there's a special one that's called the Goddesses Edition. And there's one adventure in there called Winter's Morning, which, here's a pun, it's morning like MOURNING. And it's basically a reimagining of the epic D&D adventure, Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frost Maiden. And you kind of have to figure out that it's kind of like, because it says if you're running this after this adventure, you do this, but really it's just a reimagining of the whole adventure. It's very short. A lot of details are left out here and there, but it's an interesting take on redoing that whole setup of an adventure. If you think about these things a lot, but it's worth checking out. I don't know what the current rate is, the current price is, but you can get the whole Uncaged series for I think like $10 or $15, depending on the day, over at DM's Guild or something. It's well worth your time to go look at it and read through a whole other way of thinking about doing D&D stuff, which is fun. Well, you've thought and listened to and experienced a whole other way of spending your time listening to this podcast, Software Defined Talk. Now, this has been episode 548.
Wow.
Which is a lot of episodes. So if you want to get links to the things that we recommended, items we talked about, a lot of things we didn't talk about, there's some links to, like, it turns out that huge price increase valuation of Oracle doesn't exist anymore. So once again, good job, stock market. Excellent job knowing what the fuck is happening and what reality
Way to correct that thing.
Yeah. Just like, stocks go up, stocks go down, Cloudflare's up, Cloudflare's down, whatever. Next day. But you could go to softwaredefinedtalk.com/548 and find all those links, including joining our Slack channel where you can talk about whatever you like, even sports, AI things. I don't think we have a lawn maintenance channel. Maybe we should start one.
We've got the home lab is slowly merging into like all things household related.
Yeah, home lab as in not just computers, a
Yeah,
laboratory for the home.
The home is a laboratory at this point.
Yeah, okay, I like that. I'm going to check in on that channel and see what's going on. So with that, we'll see everyone next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, fantastic episode. We didn't get to it, but I thought, for Thanksgiving, Cote, I think you're getting a really important gift from the EU. They're getting rid of the cookie pop-up. How excited are you, Cote?
I think I'm very excited. I think on all angles. I think there's a lot going on there that's interesting, and the most interesting thing is it not existing.
Well, that just means there's a browser extension that I've got installed that's like GDPR blocker that just
absolutely
disappears those things. I'll uninstall it.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like our Cloudflare conversation. Like that was another thing where it's like anytime something's wrong with the internet, I'm like, let me check my 3 ad blockers, right? and then my Stop the Madness plugin and this thing. Like, is there just like some JavaScript that's not loading? And maybe once a week, I don't remember what I was doing yesterday, but once a week there's something where I just have to like open up Chrome because I use Safari, but I just run Chrome naked, nothing in it. And so like I experienced the real internet. And
Yeah,
like
Safari's my naked browser.
right. Yeah, sure. And,
Yeah.
and so if something's not working in Safari, I load it in Chrome and I'm like, yep, there you go. And so that would be one less thing for me to diagnose a problem is those cookies. And I was also thinking earlier, this kind of retroactive study is always, I wouldn't say it's always, well, I'm going to say it. It's not accurate to say it's always bullshit. But in the same way that like, I don't even know what these words mean, but like, Facebook recovered from Apple doing their ATP thing or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not convinced that the GDPR stuff did anything. Like if anything, I mean, like the Facebook is still very
we know
profitable.
it just annoyed us with the pop-ups. That's what
right. And my point being that like it introduced some things, but I don't know if anything happened, right? Like if you were to catch, let's see, who would it be? Google, Amazon, and Facebook, and be like, hey, do you know less about the world than you did before GDPR? They would probably say no. Right.
And they work around it. They find other ways.
But I think it's kind of like the Y2K cleanups that were being done. A lot of maybe Google and Facebook aren't the ones where you see it, but like all the other companies, they cleaned up their acts.
Right. You might want to go ask like Groupon what they thought, and you'd be like, where did they go? Right. Like,
well, no. I mean, like, maybe like, Siemens or Philips, some appliance company was like, oh yeah, we were just keeping, all this data that came in with warranties and, in an unsecured S3 bucket. And we cleaned up some of our, we did some hygiene. So a lot of
also
like,
too, I think they got to a solution, although I don't know, I'd have to go back in time and see what was possible before all this, but it seemed like the solution here is sort of like, they're just going to allow people, let people essentially configure their browser however they wish. So if they want to, ignore these things, which is the equivalent of what you guys are doing. Like you already have the ad blocker or whatever, the pop-up blocker.
But we're
so
like the 1% of
I know, that's what I'm saying. But then now they've kind of made it sort of like, okay, if you care about this, you leave it on as it is. If you don't care, just have the browser, just set your browser preferences and be done with it. Which is like a reasonable solution to the whole thing.
It's not though, because at the same time, Google's doing everything they can to undermine privacy in Chrome. The default browser.
I'm saying, but like this isn't, I guess I look at it like it's two different ways. It's like that isn't going to change, right? But at least this cookie pop-up thing, if you want to see these pop-ups, you can still do it. If not, just turn them off. I've
got a proposal. As I always like to say, I enjoy living here. I'm thankful that the Europeans allow me to be here. And so I'm going to, I've got a proposal for whatever EU person might be listening. I think the next law that you need to have now, I don't know if they do this in Europe, but in America, as I'm sure you both know, even if you hold shares in a public company through an index fund, you're just like inundated with like shareholder meetings are coming up. You should vote on this stuff. And eventually you figure out, don't fucking send me paper. And you just filter that stuff away.
Electronic delivery only, yep.
So maybe instead of GDPR, every year, what all these companies need to do is send them a DVD of all the information they have about them. And it's basically like, listen, you don't have to agree to it or not, but we're going to have to send to every citizen of the EU everything we know about them on an annual basis.
Sounds fair.
And because then maybe not to the point, but I feel like the middle ground of what you and Matt are saying is Matt's kind of like, listen, they're collecting lots of stuff on me. I need to know what it is. I want to be able to look at it, and I need some amount of pain that they're given for doing that. Whereas someone like, you and me, Brandon, would just be like, don't send me the DVD.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like just, you don't.
I see though. That's right though. It's a way to incur costs for doing it. That's
right.
So.
Like it's kind of like the problem with spam and email is it costs nothing to spend it.
Yeah.
Send it.
So. All right. On that note, thanks for everyone that's streamed with us. If you didn't figure it out, we're sort of doing a little cheating. All right. We did our homework early this week, so we will not be streaming the week of Thanksgiving. So I hope Michael, Brett, I know you celebrate Thanksgiving. Enjoy it. And Henning, I don't think you celebrate Thanksgiving, but you should. That's all I can say. You should.
Can I just make the obligatory Mr. Show reference that if you are calling in to talk about senior services, you should have done that last week for this episode, because next week we're talking about dog rescue, which is broadcasting right now.
And with that,